I'm liking where this is.
Yeah.
I'm smelling what you're stepping in. I know there's nothing to say to that.
There's nothing.
Adepticon was last week. Torchlight Brigade is now out. For those of you who missed the pre-release, I'm sorry, but you'll get it eventually if you are interested, or if you watch this video at a different time, it may be available again. Very cool power armory faction. Deck has had the chance to play with it for a little bit at this point. I've had the chance to paint it, so you got both halves of the hobby, and we're gonna be talking about that today. So if you are interested in Torchlight, let's go. Roll that intro, baby. Welcome to Corner Case, the elite wargaming channel for the elite 0.1% of super cool wargaming boys and girls. You're in the hobby corner with myself, Deck, your iPhone, and Deck. Oh, sorry, you introduce yourself.
And your rival, your Android, Deck.
And you're in the hobby corner, and today we're talking Torchlight, and we're both your best friend and your pals. And we're talking Torchlight Brigade today. So we took a look at the box. It'll show up on screen. We looked at what... It's like over here. I'm gonna
wait,
put
it's over there. It's like
I'm gonna put it over here instead. We took a look at the box. It'll show up on screen. We calculated the points. Okay, so there's roughly like 250 points of stuff in there. We did the same thing for reinforcements, but we'll stick to the action pack for now. And so, Deck, after a few games with some of the Torchlight Brigade stuff, how do you feel about it?
I feel really good about it. You're going to be using about 90% of the units in the box. The chief ones are going to be your Silver Star Prime. That's going to be the biggest hitter. You'll have the Strider if you like a good skirmish. If you prefer a skirmish game, it has a lot of value if you value camo, and if you want something that's not quite as aggressive but has a solid use case. It can be aggressive depending on the profile. You'll get the Rovers. The Silver Star option is going to be amazing. You have the HMG, you have the Paramedic,
and the multi-rifle.
And you have the multi-rifle. And the multi-rifle can be a lieutenant option, both in Torchlight and in Vanilla, which is amazing in my personal opinion. And they're all specialist operatives, so they can have cheap objectives. You will also receive the Hellblazers. The Hellblazers are ideal, like, basic units. They'll start good for cores. They can provide that kind of, like, warbandy feel, but it has as a heavy infantry. And they also have as their base profile Flammenspears, which are fantastic AO pieces.
That's cool that the Prime, you're saying, gets a lot of use, because that's the thick boy.
Yeah. That's the big one.
Yeah.
Because
when you buy the box, and like usually the thickest one is the coolest looking one.
Yeah.
So like that's good that you're getting use out of it.
Yeah, it's really good. Of the 3 games that I played, it had like 20 some odd engagements, and it has lost 1.
Oh, that's pretty good. But I mean, how much of that is that versus the model versus your piloting, I guess?
It's about it. That's true. Like the piloting aspect is kind of important, but it has a lot of mods. It doesn't kill as much as you might think. The damage 16 versus like an 8, like a special ammo makes it a little bit weaker. So you'll put down a HI, but you won't kill it.
Okay,
but you're killing like the small stuff, no problem.
So are you going Rambo with it? Are you putting in a Harris, or is it putting it on ARO?
I usually put in a Harris.
Okay.
ARO is more so like as a backup option.
Okay.
The big trick is making sure that you keep it in a safe position. You can actually the nice things about the Silver Stars or the Rovers is that they can provide anti-hacking with firewall tin bots, and the additional tactical awareness allows them to be more aggressive and allows you to compensate for the otherwise very expensive units.
So if you go Harris, you go Prime and Rover with the tin bot, then your Prime is at -12 to hack. Is that
it's only -3. The tin bot's like cover.
Oh, wait. So what's the base of the Prime?
The BTS becomes 12. Functionally becomes 12. That's correct.
Oh, that's fucked up.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And then if once those come out, you can add on a wave rider, and you'll have both a hacking net, an anti-hacking presence, and also a very heavy tin pot. So all of those hackable units are well defended.
So that actually feels like a good. That feels like a good kind of consideration for new players, because hacking is like not present in any other game really, and yes, like the way you resolve conflicts in Infinity is like all kind of the same,
right?
But it's just like another, even if like I know it's still rolling a d20 in one of my mods, there's like programs and stuff, and like coming in as a new player, I remember thinking hacking felt like a different domain, that like the shooting you can kind of wrap your head around, the beat stick you can wrap your head around, but like the hacking definitely feels like the new part. So kind of like we talked about in the previous video, gotchas, like hacking can be a big gotcha.
It can be
if you're new. So having that minus 12, wow,
the 12 BTS,
or sorry, the 12 BTS is like pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty sweet. So you think, do you think this is like in general a good, because this didn't come out for Code 1, it just went straight to like an N4 release.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you think the action pack for Torchlight is good for a new player?
I absolutely think it is. It's a good baseline. A lot of newer players will want high durability, easily versatile units, and then they'll also want the less units so that they can learn more efficiently. And this action pack will help with a lot. It has a lot of the base profiles that you really need, and it has a little bit advanced rules that you kind of want, and you'll be able to like see definitive weaknesses as well and be able to shore them up.
So the action pack comes with like the thickest of boys.
Yes.
But like from what I know about Infinity, you kind of want to, like in every other faction I played, you kind of want like the line troop, and this didn't really have line troops in there, like your cheap regular order guys, the cheerleaders we like to call them.
Yep.
So does Torchlight want cheerleaders?
It does. As you expand your collection, you'll find that Torchlight has actually some of the best support units in the game. It has the Vidok, which you can get from the reinforcement pack. It has the Ment, which is a fantastic unit for that, and one of the cheapest, I think the cheapest chain of command option. So that if you take your Silver Star Prime as Lieutenant, which is very intuitive, if you lose your Silver Star Prime, then you have this backup, and it provides these redundancies that as a player you really want to look for.
Okay.
And then
that's what the Ment is for.
That's what the Ment is for. It's for when you're very aggressive and you want to play around with your lieutenant. You have this backup piece to be like, no, don't worry about it. You also have a Kappa hacker and a paramedic option. You don't have all the toys for the Kappas, but in reality, if you have a 12-point hacker, it's usually pretty good. They also have a unit that has yet to be released called the Moonraker, which is a great order filler and also a strong midfield defense. It will be deployed in a camo state, and will have mine layers, so it provides this kind of like defensive like net. And it has a thing called a heavy shotgun, which is a very powerful attack piece that can have AP. Or it can be a template, and they're both damage 15.
Man, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, so I was wondering why the Ment was like AVA 1 or something in the sectorial side. So, and it was, what is the point cost of that off the top?
It's base like 15. There's a hacker version that's 20 points.
Okay, and then you got your chain of command, so you can run buck wild with your thick boy.
Exactly.
It's all coming together for me right now. My hobby brain, my left and my right, it's coming together.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I was wondering about that because the box itself, it just has like thick boys, which I get it. Like those are the ones you want. You want to paint those, but I was like, don't you want line troops? And like when I put the list together, and I'll show on screen like what everything is in the box, is like it gets you to 250 points, but it's across 8 models, so that's not like the order count that you want to like play a full game of Infinity.
Right.
So if you wanted to play like a 150 point game with this box, I think you could do that pretty well.
Very easily.
But to get to a 300 point game, you gotta buy a little bit more.
Right.
So we talked about cheerleaders. So you still want cheerleaders.
Yep.
So we probably want Kappas. And then you mentioned the Moonrakers, which are not out yet.
Right.
So if constrained by what models you can buy right now, time of recording.
Mhm.
In the future audiences, you can get whatever you want.
From the future.
But today, or if you decide to travel to the past,
Sure.
bad idea. Or maybe a good idea, depends.
I don't know. I mean, depends on if you want to talk to your mom. That's always a weird one. I don't know.
Oh, boy.
It involves trains usually.
Oh boy, I don't know what world we're in right now. I'm scared. Okay, so right now, time of recording, you get Kappas. That's like your number one option, but there are great options for the future. Okay, lieutenant wise, you just mentioned that we can run Prime as a lieutenant if we want to really run Buckwild.
Exactly.
Rovers is an option, but like so far from what you've played, like what is like a good lieutenant option maybe for like a newer player?
So for a newer player, the Prime is an ideal option. It is very aggressive. It saves you half a SWC, and you have a backup piece. For vanilla, I think that exploring the Rover as a lieutenant option is very good. You can use it in Torchlight, but you have some other options. If you want available units, we also have the Raven Eye. The Raven Eye is a little bit more advanced. It has a hollow mask option and 2 lieutenant orders. So you're getting a lot of use out of your NCO units.
You get there's a 2 lieutenant order option in Torchlight for with a Raven.
Yeah,
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like unusual. It's only for Torchlight Brigade. So and you can hide it in your core, so that's really helpful.
Because it has hollow mask.
But it is part of your core option.
Oh, whoa!
So you can build it in.
That's like kind of awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Huh. All right.
Yeah, and it works really well with your Striders.
So which are the NCOs? I think there was a Rover NCO, if I'm not wrong. Was it like
there's a Strider. There's also Jamie Arantes, who can also be a +1 order lieutenant. I think there's one more.
Please hold. All right, we're back. We checked all the NCO options. I mean, we knew all of them.
We do all of those. The Vidoc is also a great option. There is a sniper option, which is and a doctor option of Vidoc, which amazing both of them for their own independent purposes, and coincidentally also in the reinforcement pack. We got you, CB. And then
shills. God knows Corvus Belly needs the shills. We're here. Here we are.
Got you. They're both really good for that purpose. The Vidoc sniper is one that you can take also in Starmada. I'm not as big a fan of it, but in the
context of Torchlight,
it's really helpful. It's like a nice, like, cheap ARO piece that you don't have. You can set it and forget it.
Okay.
And it also can be an attack piece because it has NCO and you're not costing any points out of it.
Yeah, you get NCO and you get the double lieutenant order, and you just go, pew pew.
Exactly.
And the Vidoc sniper is like my favorite model from the reinforcement pack.
The crouchy going.
It's because it's on the little platform. Like anytime they give me the terrain for free, I'm just all about it.
Yeah.
And when it's like the sci-fi, like I'm kind of so about the tactical rocks. Like the CA, the CA and like the Combined Army and the Ariadna have like the rock kind of stuff around them, and I'm like kind of so about it. But like when it's the sci-fi stuff, like Achilles standing on like whatever, like big chunky weird wreckage, or like the Vidoc on like a platform sniping, that stuff is sick. I love that stuff. Okay, so lieutenant options we talked about. Prime is very intuitive, but bring your Ment chain of command for the
every
love
single
of God.
time. BTS 12 does not always save you from Oblivion's era, the isolation. It can hit you pretty good.
Yeah, and to talk about new player experiences again, don't lose your lieutenant, and if you do, chain of command. So don't forget that.
Chain of command.
It'll save you when you the first time you lose lieutenant when you're like brand new. You're just like, so I can only. What do you mean I can't do anything?
Right. like I'm playing this game like normal? What is going on here?
What do you mean each model only moves once?
Yeah. This is not what this game is built around. That's correct.
Yeah, it felt really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so save yourself the headache.
Right.
Yeah, bring the Ment, and then And then we talked about what is NCO, because we had the Raven Eye with the double lieutenant order just for Torchlight.
Right.
And so one of our NCOs was Vidocs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you said earlier that you thought the Vidoc, you liked the Vidoc.
I do like the
that
Vidoc quite
unit?
a lot. It has a lot of versatility. There's the Doctor, which if you're only taking one lieutenant, you can like use to heal up whatever ARO piece you are using. I like the Rover missile launcher as a standing ARO piece, and that allows you to form the core around it. And if he goes down, you can heal him up with the Vidoc Doctor and not spend any orders.
Oh,
right.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's really convenient.
That's nice.
You can also do a cheaper option with the sniper, and then use the Hellblazer as a core, as the basis of your core, and that allows you to perform it, use it as kind of an offensive piece as well, because it has MSV. So depending on the scenario, you might be able to like shoot through smoke or like destroy like mimetism units.
Dude, my third eye is being opened right now. I swear to God, because I don't have the gaming brain. Okay, so like I think I understand when like people talk to me games, but like I'm the hobby hero. So you're talking about you use the double lieutenant order on your doctor, right? The Vidoc Doctor with the NCO. That kind of makes that little Doctor NCO like its own little group, because It feels so bad when like your stuff goes down and then like you have a doctor in your group one, and then you got to spend your like what should be aggressive orders like bringing your thing back up, but like with the double lieutenant order, you're actually, that's like its own little group. It's like safe haven for like you have the guaranteed 2 orders to do your thing, and it doesn't necessarily eat into your offense.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't have these thoughts by myself, but like when other people tell me stuff, I get it sometimes.
Yeah, again, as we've addressed in other videos, learning the context of a unit is very valuable.
Because it's you just see each individual unit. You're like, is this good? Is this good? You know, and then like you just have your like pile of keywords.
Right.
Like, what do I do with these?
I like this word salad.
There's more words equals more better.
Right.
Okay, so what is your favorite unit in the new action pack?
So my favorite unit in the new action pack, strangely, is the Rovers. I like the Rovers a lot. There's a lot of untapped potential in them. They don't seem very intuitive. A lot of people are kind of down on them.
Really?
So I'm going to take this hot take of, I think the Rovers aren't necessarily the best unit, but definitely the most interesting.
Huh. You think they're a spicy unit?
They're definitely spicy.
They're hidden spicy.
Like a heavy infantry extra order specialist that can also gunfight has a lot of unlockable potential.
You're talking about the tac aware one? Are they all tac aware?
They're not all tac aware, but they don't have to be.
Okay.
There are very few fighting specialists.
Oh.
And the fact that you can take that is unique and like not necessarily in a kind of an untapped scenario.
Oh, it kind of feels like it buys you some flexibility. If you don't want to risk too many points, but you want to score the thing, you can like risk one of these guys. Yeah. Instead of like taking your whole Harris down and trying to do the thing.
Exactly.
Okay, I see it. That's pretty cool. Yeah, because like when you see the unit, you know, we talk a lot about like what's intuitive for a new player.
Yep.
And you see the Space Marine,
Yeah.
And you're like,
they're Space Romans. You're like, I know that guy.
I know where that's. I've seen that.
I've seen this before. Yeah, exactly.
Where's your Emperor? Where is he? Yeah, well, you see that and you think like, oh, okay, we're gonna go beat stick, shoot down, mow stuff down with this guy. Like obviously an aggressive piece. But it kind of feels like what we're talking about now is like maybe a little more versatile.
Right.
Maybe can buy you some flexibility. And I guess what people would be down on it because it doesn't immediately feel like a killer.
It's not. It doesn't look like a killer. It's kind of overshadowed by the Prime, and the Prime does overshadow the HMG option because it has all of the same stuff and it's just chunkier and cooler looking. It's got like a BS -3. It does have that kind of overshadowing thing, but I mean, you can take that lieutenant, and the lieutenant will do work for you every single time, and it just is kind of like, oh, I'm going to follow up with it. Or, I mean, the amount of times that I've taken an Asawira lieutenant and just said, well, I'm going to save this till the end and then murk you all has been uncountable.
Okay. I see it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm into it. I'm happy that the Rovers are like actually going to get play. You know, it feels bad when like you're playing a game called X-Wing and you never see an X-Wing and you play twice a day for months. You never see an X-Wing.
Yeah. Oh my god. There was like that hot minute of like Wedge, and then you had like the Rogue Squadron, and then nothing.
Yeah, it was cool for like less than a month.
Yeah.
And then like you see tables and tables of TIE defenders, which you've never even seen in a movie before.
Right.
And you never see the game's namesake. So it's nice that, the stuff on the box art is like actually useful, and the stuff that you want to play that's on the box art is useful.
Right.
I'm actually really happy about the Prime, because I feel like in this game, at least, when you see like a big unit nowadays, I kind of see it just as like a point risk. I'm like, that's just a lot of points to lose if I didn't play well.
Right.
But it kind of sounds like you do play aggressively with it.
Mm-hmm.
The Prime.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
if you do lose it, okay, fine. You have like your chain of command.
Right.
And it's starting to like all come together. I'm liking it.
You have a lot of back. The Prime is a very powerful unit, and it does look like what's on the tin. It does read as what's on the tin, which is really great for beginning players and for veterans. It's just, but you also can carry around backups.
Let's like make a list, kind of. So, okay, if the constraint is, so we already talked about like in the action pack box, there's 250 points roughly,
sure,
but only 8 orders, right? Or only 8
models. Yeah.
And the reinforcement pack has 6 models in it,
right? And
it brings you up to a total of 350-ish points, like that.
Yeah.
So there is kind of a way to make 300 points there, but not really, because you don't really have like cheerleaders to like fill out, like the 15 order count. I'll have to look, but I just don't really believe that you can get to 15 orders and 300 points with those two.
Definitely not.
So, okay, so we talked about getting kappas.
Yeah.
Right? So what else should people think to get? Time of recording. If the constraint is stuff that's out right now.
Sure.
What should I get?
The first thing you should always get when you're building a new army is the REMs. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like just a baseline piece. The amount of times that you're going to need the flashbot / the kaita is going to be insurmountable. It provides an order, it provides a repeater, and it also provides an ARO piece. So very valuable there. Additional pieces, if you can get your hands on a special edition Raven Eye, go grab it. But the new Raven Eye is going to be coming out in blister form, and you'll be able to grab that. So
it was only with like a book or something before?
Right, it was I think it was actually called Raven Eye.
Yeah, it was actually the Raven Eye book.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you can get your hands on it, good on you. But the blister's coming out.
Okay.
So you'll be able to get that. So it is both printed and will be printed.
Okay.
So it's kind of like super.
Okay.
We'll go back to the future on this one.
We have caveats.
We have tricks. And then additionally, like we said, the kappa.
Cheerleaders, lieutenants, remotes.
Remotes, those are the big ones. You need a work. You will need a war core. It's the scoring. The points get kind of awkward, and so you need that like 3-point filler.
I'm like not sure if I think it's funny or if I hate it that you need a war core for like just Infinity in general. Core, like 3-point, basically newsy, basically reporter. Right? Has the flash pulse, and there's the 6th Sense version and the 360 visor version. And it just fills out like in a regular order for those of you new.
Right.
It's just 3 points. So literally just gets shoved into like almost every list.
It does get shoved into a lot of lists. It's in this case it also makes a lot of sense. I mean, the Torchlight Brigade is supposed to be like they're supposed to like go out and to see the world and like explore like the far reaches, and you want that documented, right? I would think so.
Okay.
Those are the big ones that outside of the action pack.
Okay, yeah, I mean that totally makes sense. Like every army and those things too, like kappas and remotes and Raven Eyes, they'll be useful across like if you branch into vanilla. And if I'm not wrong, even in Starmada, I don't know about Raven Eyes in Starmada.
Raven Eyes and Starmada are pretty stable.
So like literally all 3 of those things happen in Starmada too.
Exactly.
So those 3 things are just good for this faction in general. I'm not gonna lie, I have a love-hate relationship with the remotes in Infinity because every army, it's like an archetype of unit, Mm-hmm. Like some games they have your line troopers and your tanks and your blah blah. Like there's types.
Right.
And so Infinity, like one of the types is remote, and I kind of hate that I have to buy it for every faction because I just want to buy heroes. I like playing Hero Hammer.
Sure, yeah.
So the 7-point, like the cheapest unit, just like kind of frustrates me that I have to spend money on it. But it gets so much play, and they do look really cool.
Yeah.
Like and especially like it becomes like a nice point of like when you look at what does Combined Army look like, what does O12 look like,
right?
You know, what does Hawk Islam look like, and you compare their remotes and they all look super different. So it's like actually almost easier to understand what the faction looks like from the remotes than like the light infantry. Because the light infantry is
that
like
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Well, it's a physically smaller model, and like they're just wearing clothes.
Right. I mean, the whole point is that like it's just some generic mook with like the specialty armor versus the remotes are like kind of like the technology that they developed in their own way. Yeah. Like you'll notice that like the Kaita and the Millicent and that kind of like the O12 options has a lot of inspiration from other factions.
Yeah, they got the same legs as the Aleph.
Right, and they've got like that kind of square build that you'll see in like Nomads, but it'll have like weapons that you'll see. I think you'll see those the Pano style.
Oh, yeah, really? Huh, I didn't know about the Pano style one, but I
don't not entirely certain, but that does sound about right.
Definitely the legs though are exactly the Rebot legs from Aleph.
Right.
So. And I know because I've already painted like 20 of those legs.
So I know this for sure.
I know what those legs
look
exactly.
Like. And then you'll see like carryover, like the Fuzzbot has its own like unique feeling. It looks like a little bug. It actually looks like a proper bug.
Oh, nice.
But where would you get that? I wonder where that's from. I'm certain there's like inspiration.
The new Aleph stuff looks a little buggy. The new what is the Evo hacker bot? Probots. The new Probots are kind of buggy looking.
Buggy? Okay.
Yeah, but so I think they're like a nice design thing. I just hate spending money on them.
Oh yes, no.
Because I want to spend money on like the heroes. I like playing a little bit of hero
on the big cool guys. Yeah.
Yeah, like the tags and like the named characters. That's like what I want. But they do get a lot of use, like a ton of use.
They are pretty stapley.
I've definitely like not won a game, but tied a game, critting a dodge on a rebot to score a point.
Because you baggaged into like a...
It was so insulting. It was absolutely so insulting.
That's the best way to win. You're just like, this shouldn't happen. You're like, did.
It was the mission where you got to complete as many objectives as possible.
Counterintelligence.
It was counterintelligence, and Kevin and I were playing, and Kevin was up like 2 points or something, and like I think I even lost the lieutenant. So I had like 2 veteran orders that I could spend, and like one, and then I had my irregular order from the rebot, and I had like one more. I had 1 command token.
Wow!
And I did that to just get across the board, and then just like, and then I dodged. I critted a dodge to get into range of like whatever I needed to be in range of. It was awesome, and I didn't win, but I tied, and that was like a little 7-point flash pulse. So it was funny. It was kind of funny.
That's pretty funny.
Okay, so that was Torchlight Brigade. Do we want to talk about anything more about it?
For Torchlight? No, I'm excited to see a lot of the special characters, ironically.
Okay.
Jamie Arantes is looking really good. She has a lot of potential. She is a size 4, so she's gonna be difficult to hide.
Okay.
But you can use her as a lieutenant, and she's like a very, very aggressive lieutenant.
Wait, size 4 is the Andromeda size?
Andromeda size, exactly right.
Okay.
And she has guard and everything, so it's kind of weird. She has a shock CCW.
Okay.
Which is not what you really look for in a melee specialist, but because it's only rolling 1 dice when you damage. So.
And that kind of feels like a chaff killer to me.
It does feel like a chaff killer when you read that, but you also didn't read into the fact that it's a plasma rifle, which is a murder everything.
Oh, plasma rifle's good.
And plasma rifle's amazing.
Wait, so that means so now you get plasma on Hector and you get plasma on Jamie. So you have good access in O12 to that weapon.
Jamie is not in vanilla.
Oh, okay.
It would have been nice, but she is not. And then Sonia LaCroix, who has Albedo, a very unused skill.
Some people hate that skill.
Some people really see it as attacks. I have seen it used to great effect as like kind of like, because mimetism and MSV snipers are a very common ARO piece. So being able to sneak by with your random X-visory Albedo sniper multi-rifle can do a lot of work.
Wait, so albedo is basically your white noise on turn 1?
Yep, your body counts as a white noise field.
So you are basically invisible to MSV.
Correct.
Okay.
So you get to sneak around. She also grants, when you take her as the lieutenant, she grants +1 SWC. And
you want that.
And yeah, Torchlight is very, very swig hungry.
Oh, it is swig hungry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you've got the main rakers, which will take a half a swig.
Oh, because they got the mine layer. We talked about this.
Exactly.
The mine layer tax half a swig.
Yeah, it is a very specific tax. And then you want hackers, and you want some kind of defensive piece, and possibly and you'll want as many attackers as possible. So that builds up very quickly.
Cool. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really excited for this army, and then I started painting it, and then now I'm kind of stoked from painting it, but now that we're talking about the gameplay, I'm like, oh, actually I'm liking where this is. I'm smelling what you're stepping in. I know there's nothing to say to that.
There's nothing. I'm just gonna let it go. Yeah, it has a lot of versatility, and it does have a very specific game plan, but because of the different lieutenant options, that kind of defines the faction build.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so it sounds like there's a lot of good options for new players. Sounds like it is relatively intuitive, and it's like a pretty flexible game plan.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm digging it. I think that's pretty cool. All right, so that was kind of our early takes on Torchlight. I've hopefully shown some of my painted models on screen. You see what I did with them. I had fun painting them. I think I'm not done painting, but you'll see at some point. Hopefully, you saw a Hellblazer with a hammer, and I'm working on that. Yeah.
No scythes.
No sides. No. Because these aren't the Greeks. These are Romans.
Oh.
You know? Yeah.
Were there axes? Maybe. Yeah.
Or hammers? I don't know.
Well, I'm not a big history buff on this one.
Other things that look like these things. Others
have had hammers and have had axes.
Other Space Marines have hammers. Okay. Other Space Marines have hammers. Okay,
sure.
I'm working on an STL for that. I'm working on an STL for just like a hammer. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, hope that was helpful. Let us know in the comments what you're thinking. If you are having any questions, etc. Probably on the server, you can ask people questions. Please like and subscribe. See you guys next time. Thank you.